gym ritual, a little bit of Keith Sweat, a little bit of R&B, calm the nerves. Everybody gets so fired up on the way to the gym. Then when you actually get to the gym, you got a bunch of warming up, you got to find your bar, you got to set up your fucking squat rack. You lose that mojo, man. Just chill. Chill your whole squat session. Today's deadlifts, chill your whole deadlift session. Get fired up when a PR is coming or when you're at a meet on the platform. Save that energy. A little bit of caffeine, a little bit of Keith Sweat will get you a long way.
Hey, now walk it out, walk it out, now walk it out, walk it out, DJ, walk it out, DJ man on the track, walk it out, DJ on, walk it out, we in the gym, baby.
What's happening, guys? Another deadlift day, more deadlifts, more gains, more technique work. I'm still just messing with like 60%, 70%, something around 400 pounds. Didn't really go with any set scheme or idea of what I was going to do. I just wanted to work light and work on my form. I'm still just working on moving my stance out, getting those knees out, and also flattening my back, which actually today, sometimes you just have those aha moments. Even though I've been deadlifting sumo for, I don't know, 5 years or so, you still have aha moments where you get a mind, muscle, feel where, okay, this feels good, this is going to be right. We had a bunch of guys going, a bunch of different bars going. Here's Filipino Thunder just warming up. I just showed you guys a little bit of everything. I want to see you guys, show you guys how we warm up each individual. Here's Big Dan. Dan pulls conventional. He raped 680 pounds at his last meet, so now he's going to go hopefully a little bit above 7 in this next one, but he's just feeling stiff, so he just does a little bit of sumo to warm up, even though he pulls conventional and his working weights will be conventional, just to open up those hips. Here's Little Smokey. Little Smokey recently had surgery, so he's just rehabbing a little bit. Red had some surgery on his abs, so he's just sticking around with 315, just handling triples, trying to perfect that form once again, find the groove. Even though he was only out about 4 to 6 weeks, it's just about getting that groove back, getting that strength back. I've mentioned it tons of different times, but there's 2 or 3 pathways where we can get stronger. One is just building more muscle. More muscle has potential to be stronger. 2 is learning how to recruit more muscle fibers, more motor units, and that's kind of just literally getting stronger. And then 3 is getting more proficient at the movement. So if you're training 65 to 85% range, in my opinion, you can kind of do all 3 of those things with adequate volume. Like I said, just working on kind of my breathing here. You can see myself touch my tummy a little bit before, but I'm trying to get that low back nice and flat and really breathe into my lower stomach and obliques. It sounds weird. People talk about breathing this, flattening that, but you're just trying to get as tight as you can. And the more you practice breathing, some people say breathe through your nose, this and that. You just got to find out what will work for you, but you want to breathe throughout your whole stomach and your low back, flexing it as tight as you can before you both bench squat and deadlift. Here I am dicking around. I think Mark's yelling at me saying I can't pull it. It's like 400 pounds, maybe 405. Once again, we're on the Rogue Ohio Power Bar. For those that are building a home gym or anything, what bar you use, we get that question a lot. This is a stiff bar. It's a great multi-purpose bar, overhead, squats, all that. It is, I think, official in the USAPL, maybe the IPF, they use that bar. On the background, you see the deadlift bar. The main difference is the deadlift bar will be a little bit longer. It'll be a little bit thinner, no knurling in the middle, and it'll also be a little bit of whip. So you'll be able to you've probably heard the term pull the slack out of the bar as you set up. Here I am, top set. Actually, I lied. I end up pulling on that deadlift bar just to see the difference. Doing these, what I like to call Ed Cone touch and goes, just controlling it both ways, letting the weight dissipate into the ground, letting the weight pull you into hopefully a better position and then pull from there, rather than slamming it off the ground, and rather than dead stopping and totally resetting, which I actually don't think is a bad idea either, since you only get 1 rep out of meet. Trying to get Dan to work on the same thing. He's doing sets of 5. Just a very simple progression I have Dan going through. I don't know if you guys know, but he's competing in March. He last time totaled about 1,800 or so. Now we're looking for a high 1,800 pound total, maybe even 1,900 if he puts everything together. But these first couple weeks here in his training, all we're doing is a 3x5 at, I think I have him at 70, 75%. Following week, a 4x5, and then the following week, a 5x5, and then we'll do a little deload and get to some heavier weights as the meet's coming closer. There's a million ways to get strong, a million ways to program, different lifts, variations, sets, reps, programs. But that's just something simple, a simple 3-week wave you guys can do. Then you could reset it, adding 5 or 10 pounds, do the exact same thing. Something very similar to Jim Wendler's, just adding volume as you go. Here's Mark hopping in on the pulls with us. Mark was on the stiff bar with me, then he hopped over the deadlift bar. I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna hop to the deadlift bar. I think it's about 515 pounds. I was just trying to emulate that flat back position I felt in the stiff bar. I think I do it a little bit better with a deadlift bar because it has that slack. I can pull my shoulders a little bit higher, flatten that back a little bit. Obviously, it's not that heavy for me. It's still maybe 70-75%, 500 pounds is. But it felt really good. I'm starting to get a hang of this flatter back thing. The wider stance threw me off in the beginning. Whenever you're working on your form, changing something, it's best to use 60-70% for lower reps so you can really focus on it. You don't want to just max out with a brand new stance or a brand new grip on the bench. Chances are you'll get injured, and chances are you'll be frustrated with how you perform. Here's Mark's top set. He threw on a quota. It's probably 575 or so. I think those are 55-pound plates in the middle. Just smashes it for a triple. He did an easy touch and go, and then I think it resets here. He probably just lost his breath. People ask us like, oh, why did you reset, or why didn't you reset all 3? Sometimes things don't go as we plan, and so you just have to figure it out to finish your set, you know? Like I said, Dan had 5 sets of 5. I don't know if I get them all on here, but he controls it on the way down, knees out. His back looks a little rounded, but it's because he's a big dude. He's probably 6'4", 6'5". Let the weight dissipate a little bit, keep that weight close, and explode back up. Dan's working his tail off. I'm really excited to see the results here. A little bit long of a reset there. He just lost his rhythm and his breath, he told me after, which is fine. As I mentioned before, sometimes things don't go perfectly. In a perfect situation, I want him to drop his hips into the position he likes to start from. The best way to get strong is to hang out in the position you're weakest in. Here's Miss Cookie Callie hitting a top set of 10, I think. She wanted to go for a PR. She wanted a 225 for 10, which would have been a PR, but I don't know if she forgot or not, or didn't know until afterwards, but that's like a 50, maybe even a 55-pound bar. She actually handled 230, just banging out sets of 10. Kylie's been training with us the last couple months here. Pretty experienced powerlifter, has been doing it for a while. Pretty smart chick, pretty strong chick. I think she squats in the 300s in sleeves, pulls around 300, and then benches maybe 160, 170 or so. She's the one that all you guys who don't know what you're talking about are on Instagram bashing on her little arch, but she has very good mobility in her back, so she gets in a pretty crazy position in the bench, getting her rib cage nice and high, her sternum high, getting her a little bit more stable, and also shortening that range of motion. She's also queen of the Walk It Out dance by DJ Unk, if you didn't know earlier. That's what she's about. After I hit up a bunch of deadlifts, like I said, a bunch of sets of 3, just figuring out that wider stance, flatter back. Just went over squats. Felt good, actually. I felt very powerful on this day. Sometimes when you feel powerful or you feel good, you want to really push the envelope. And sometimes I suggest you don't do that. My goal today was just to do sets of 5 on the squat. 315, I felt very, very, very good, mobile and explosive. So all I did was add a couple 10s. Ended up with 350 pounds on the bar or so, 3 sets of 5. I'm not showing you all of it because they all look the exact damn same. Right now I'm squatting twice a week, deadlifting once, benching twice, overhead press once. Basically, I like to squat twice a week just to find my groove and get in extra volume. I suggest that's an easy way for a lot of you who want to squat more or squat more proficiently to do. Either add it after your deadlifts or add it after an extra bench day. If you want to squat 3 times a week, you'll probably have to add it maybe on its own day or after a bench day. As I mentioned, 55-pound bar, so who knows, 350 pounds or some shit. I don't really care. Don't really care about the math. When you're prepping, when you have a coach, time to dial in that math. When you don't, time to just focus on getting a lot of work in, and you don't have to go by exact percentages every single workout for the rest of your life. Sometimes you just gotta have fun. And fun for me is not thinking and just lifting. As I mentioned, squats feel good. Competition schedule or goals for 2016. I'm not really sure, to be honest, just because Expo season's coming up, and as you guys know or may not know, I work for Slingshot and Mark, so we travel a lot. We're shaking hands, kissing babies, and slanging slangers. So I may be traveling every other week or every 2 weeks or so. So it'll just be very difficult for me to get the amount of work in I want to step on the platform and perform how I like. I never got into powerlifting to be a world record holder. I just got into powerlifting to get bigger, stronger, faster, and because I love the training. I don't love to compete. And if I do compete again this year, it'll probably be late spring, early summer. And that's purely because I'll find 8 to 10 weeks where I can train unbroken with travel. Just because I can't stand sucking is the truth. So I don't want to go on the platform and do worse than I ever have. And with my flying schedule, and I know people are like, oh, Mike, suck it up. You got a great life. I do have a great life. But it's just like I said, I don't want to step on the platform and do like shit. I want to hit PRs. I want to do better. After I hit those squats, just want to get some beltless stuff. Working on my lockout as always. I just think my glutes and low back can always get stronger, even though they are kind of large, I guess. If I have a strong point as a bodybuilder, it'd probably be those. But either way, just hitting some sets of 5, strapping it up because my hands were dying, getting back to that over-under grip. That's it for this one, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Like that bitch, share that bitch, subscribe to that bitch. More Q&As, more vlogs, more lifting footage on the way. Thanks for all the support, guys. I really appreciate it. We'll be at the LA Fit Expo, booth 624. I'm out of here.